Welcome back to Dylan of Sid Meier's Civilization 4, Colonization, where we continue the conquest of the Americas on max difficulty as the Dutch. What I'm trying to do is get one Ponce de Leon, as well as Peter Minuit as soon as possible, but me generating Liberty Bells is actually pretty dangerous. We've got 14 turns left on the stockades here. I think that I'm going to wait until the stockades are done, and I'm going to switch from stockades to building political points directly using hammers. Let's sell the merchantman down towards Remembrance, and we'll sell the caravel towards Gamble, I believe, because Gamble has that fish there. They can make a lot of food from there. The mod of colonization that I like to play is called We the People. It's gone through a lot of iterations. It used to be known as like Revolution and something. I'm not sure what it was exactly. I can't remember. But it actually does address the whole slavery issue by having it in game with its own benefits and drawbacks, which there are a lot of drawbacks. So we're going to assign the carpenter into the settlement. We're going to have him go back and forth between building lumber and making hammers so that we can finish the stockade faster. And then we're going to pull the free colonist out, make him a scout, I think. Yeah, let's make him a scout. I could make the petty criminal into a scout and then he would get upgraded more easily. Yeah, let's swap them out. Petty criminal goes in, free colonist goes in. Petty criminal comes out as a scout, free colonist comes out as a soldier. Unfortunately, in this game, in the vanilla version, the troops don't upgrade to veterans automatically. They only get promotions, just like in Civilization, based on experience that they earn during battle. And then they use those promotions to effectively become veterans, but not quite. Because veteran soldiers have leadership, which is a promotion that doubles their experience gained from combat. Let's see, it's turn 21. Okanastota is still not yet declaring war on us, which is good. I think I'm going to do something a little ballsy here. I'm going to march down with my troops down south. The natives don't get alarmed by that. They're not too worried about it, which might be another issue with the game, is that the natives aren't quite as varied as they were before. And I'm going to send my seasoned scout here west. This scout is going to go northwest, and we're going to fan out north with this scout up here. We're going to go to the middle with this scout, and this scout is going to take the south. My objective is to take all of the goody huts and all of the native villages before the other Europeans can find them, especially people like France here. So I mentioned earlier that there is a forced peace treaty time in this game, and that is 20 turns, so we should be able to declare war in England now, which I am going to do. The sooner you get aggressive in the higher difficulties, the sooner that you're going to get an edge on everybody else, especially because you'll be taking their colonists from them. On these higher difficulties, the AI tend to get a lot of military forces quite rapidly in my experience. I've played the game a decent amount, not a huge amount, but a decent amount. You know what? As a tactic I'm going to use, actually, this seasoned scout, I'm going to go around the petty criminal scout. I'm going to put him onto the caravel, and then the caravel is going to sail around meeting villages using the scout. And what I'm going to do is something sneaky. I'm going to sell guns to the natives that aren't nearby me, but that are nearby my enemies. You can pretty much double your money every time you sell guns to the natives. It costs you 700, but you earn about 1,400. So these are expert fishermen. That's nice. They want horses, but I'm not going to sell them anything. We're going to war pretty soon. And the foreign colonies and revolutionary like to expand super fast. Jamestown has been founded, and there's another English colony right here that's been founded as well, based upon these borders. So I am highly justified in pushing to Kitawa, not declaring war on them, and taking a look in here and saying that there are no defenders in here. That is a huge mistake, England. Let's take a look over here too and see if we can get some vision around there. If we go up on the mountain, we might be able to see around the mountain to see the colony there. The sooner that I take the Europeans down a notch, the longer it's going to take them to recover, and the more strength that I'm going to build up in the meantime. With the scout on board the caravel, I'm going to sail north to meet the people over by France and consider selling them some guns. The AI natives should also be pretty upset with the enemy colonies too, so even more reason to arm them. We got some treasure to sell for 622 gold. I'll take that. I would prefer to have a galleon, but galleons are so expensive. It takes a while to get one. I could get Pedro Alvarez Cabral, but I'm not going to. I'm going to refuse to take him. Founding fathers in this game are actually competitive. That means that you have to fight with the other colonies for them. Once you reject one, you cannot accept him later on, so you have to make your choices carefully. Let's move up on the mountain. Unfortunately, we can't get vision on the colony, that's alright. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to England and say hello with our guns. Thanks for the colony. Oh, they took up arms, that's right. But we have a cannon. We'll go ahead and take that colony, we might as well. It's not in a terrible position, and it has crabs right here. Plus, I get a free colonist out of it. In this colony, what shall we build? I think our immediate concern is a stockade. Our free colonist still has movement, and we should be able to take down this pioneer super easily. He surrenders, I think? Yeah, he does. That is wonderful because now we have that pioneer to work our land and upgrade it. Let's take a look at how Akonostota is feeling. He's upset quite a bit. We've stolen his land 4 times apparently, and our way of life is threatening to him. He's probably going to declare war on us very soon, which makes me very nervous. He's right in contact with Jamestown, so he could declare war with us tomorrow. And this unit right here could take down Gamble immediately, which worries me enough that I'm going to sell back to... Or should I... Do I risk it? Sell back to Remembrance, pick up the guns, move them over to Gamble, drop the guns, and then move on? Or do I be greedy, sail north, and try to find natives to trade with immediately? It's a hard thing to think about, because he's still annoyed. He's not yet attacking us. I think I'm gonna risk it. This might be a really stupid decision. We're gonna have a couple turns until the merchantman comes back with an army. And he is going to come back with an army. We've met Sitting Bull. Now Sitting Bull is also impressionable, so he gets that double native conversion rate. He also gets a settlement attack bonus. He is also a mentor, which means that when you send colonists to live with him and learn a skill, they spend half time learning that skill. His units also get Mountaineer, which means they have Hills attack and Hills defense plus 50%. So it would be a good idea to train units with him. Really, training with the natives doesn't take very long. Every unit that you send to them does take longer to train, but unlike the classic version, their villages will train more than one person at a time. So now I hit end turn, and I hope that Okonostota does not declare war on me. Oh, Jesus. I watched that native unit move and I was like, oh my god. Thanks. Well, damn, we can't actually take this colony. We have to burn it down because there's only one colonist in it. It's gonna get burned down no matter what. There we go. That is too bad. Let's bring the pioneer home. The pioneer is probably gonna get turned into a soldier in all honesty. That way we'll have a soldier in each of our 3 towns, and we should be able to defend ourselves very easily. The natives have an incredibly hard time attacking a town. But of course, this is the colonization engine. If the soldier dies, that's it. There's no one else behind him. There won't be any muskets behind him. The colonists and the colony will be destroyed. Anyway, let's get the bomb 1 promotion for plus 20% settlement attack with our cannon. We could get canister shot for plus 20% versus gunpowder units, or solid shot for plus 5% settlement bombard damage. Veteran 1 is a basic plus 10%, and looter gives you more money from pillaging. Let's go with settlement attack. I want this cannon to be as capable of taking down natives as possible. And we're just quietly going to leave this cannon right next to Kitawa, with no reason whatsoever of having done that. We've met the French, don't care. Talk to Sitting Bull, get some beads. Let's see if we can get a look inside France. And here we go. So there's Quebec. They've got 3 colonists inside already. They already have a Dragoon. Now Dragoon does not get defensive bonuses. They have a strength 4, which is in comparison to our soldier with a strength 3. Our cannon does have strength 3 as well, but the cannon automatically has plus 100% settlement attack, so it functions at strength 6. With our promotion, it gets 120% settlement attack, which means that it should function at 6.6 strength, which means that odds are we probably have about maybe a 66% chance of attacking Quebec. We could land on the jungle hills for plus 75% defense, set up, and then hit Quebec. But my big concern is really just the natives. I'm very, very worried that they're going to attack us shortly. The more colonies that we found, the more upset these natives will probably be. Although I think it's mainly based upon if you have culture in their land. It does look like that this particular native only has 3 settlements though. He has Kitawa, Chota, and Great Hawassi. I cannot find any more land marked Cherokee. This land is Tupi, and this land up here is Sitting Bull. So if I can destroy these 3 villages, I will no longer have a problem with this particular native. And this is just a game. I would not do this in real life. Just saying. I disagree heavily with everything that the colonials did. I disagree with many things that people do today. Thankfully, he has not declared war on us yet, so we're okay for the moment. We're going to need some more colonists to defend ourselves, as well as some more soldiers. Yeah, this pioneer is going to become a soldier. I don't need pioneers yet. I'm not worried about upgrading my lands. I'm more worried about dealing with the natives first. So he's going to drop his tools. The tools go into Jamestown. It takes 50 tools to arm a pioneer, 50 muskets for a soldier, 50 horses and 50 muskets for a dragoon, and 50 horses for a scout. Just like the classic colonization. Unfortunately, the English only had 12 muskets in Jamestown, other than the muskets that they picked up. I'm going to send him towards Remembrance to set up there. That means that I need at least one more soldier, although in reality I'm probably going to need 2 more soldiers. 1 for each of the colonies, and I've got enough muskets in Remembrance to arm this 3 colonists, so I've got that taken care of. That means I need 100 muskets to arm a soldier in Campbell, plus another 100 to arm a soldier to protect our cannon to push Chota and Great Hawassi. With our merchantman here, we're going to hurry the immigration of this free colonist. I'm going to arm him with some muskets, put him on the boat. Now we have an option of a silver miner, rancher, or a weaver. We could purchase a specific unit, and most of these prices don't change. Some of them do change. I don't remember exactly which ones do change. For instance, the cannons are now up to 600, they were 500. I think it's the same as the original colonization. Interestingly enough, the prices are very different. Farmers are now pretty cheap. They used to be like 1,200 gold in the original, now they're 800. Same thing with fishermen. But we don't have the money for that. We need troops, and we need them now. So our options are silver, rancher, or weaver. Weaver I'd like to keep around because we do have some prairie to grow cotton on. The rancher I'd like to keep around too because we're going to need horses one day. Now the silver miner, I don't see any silver. You can always get silver from a mountain no matter what. You get at least 1 silver. With a mine that becomes 2 silver. With an expert silver miner that is 4 silver, I believe. So a silver miner is reasonable to have, especially because silver sells for 19 at the moment. And as the Dutch, we have the benefit of less sensitive market prices, so that's nice. It looks like there's actually a silver miner here in France already, working that mountain. I think our best option in this case is to go ahead and pick up the silver miner with the possibility of eventually downgrading him from soldier to become a regular colonist. But now we have 2 more troops. We're going to send them on back home. We only have 231 gold, which is enough to hurry immigration, but I don't need more colonists right now. I want to save up a little bit and make it a little bit cheaper with the crosses. Ooh, there's a settlement right here. Let's take a look and see how Sitting Bull feels about the French. Now, the French are better at maintaining good relations with the close borders spark tensions, so they're going to have issues. The French get along better with the natives, but this is revolutionary difficulty. Everybody hates everybody. So we have a good reason to see if the Hank Tawan needs some guns. We got the stockade built in Remembrance. So we're going to switch over not to docks, but instead to political points. We are aiming to get Juan Ponce de Leon, and then we're aiming to get Peter Minuit. But first, Juan Ponce de Leon. My scouts right now are only moving like 1 tile per turn because the land is so forested, which is really unfortunate. But the scout on the caravel has no problem with that. We only got 148 gold. They teach tobacco planting and they do want some guns. Very nice. We're going to sail immediately back home, as well as exploring at the same time a little bit, to go buy some guns. That's going to cost us, for 100 guns, it's going to be 700 gold. They're selling for 7 at the moment. Well, we buy them for 7 at the moment. But we're going to be able to double our money. And we're going to be able to arm Sitting Bull, which is going to make life much, much harder for the French. Remember, there's only 3 other foreign colonies in this game. Now we get Juan Ponce de Leon, I'll take that. I'm kind of considering making peace with the English, but I think we'll be alright. We'll just go ahead, we'll dig in right here and hope that the English don't attack my scout, something like that. Our merchantman is back. We're going to give muskets to the 3 colonists of Remembrance, and we're going to sail the merchantman towards Gamble. We're not going to actually enter Gamble, or are we? We might as well to pick up some goods to sell. I actually got some experience from a ancient ruin, so now I can get something very, very important. For scouts, the first promotion that you want in this game is Explorer 1. It reduces terrain movement cost by 1. And then you really want Explorer 2 to get +1 visibility range. Now, Forest costs 1 movement, not 2 movement. I'm going to move into Taubate, and hopefully that's kind of correct, and see if I can have a chat with the Tupi. I'm going to dig in with our colonists here and fortify. The cannon's going to remain here to be ready to attack Kituwa. I'm going to turn off the show all resource display. Oh my gosh, the English is so stupid. I don't think a scout can attack. Oh, they can, but I only have 25.1% odds of success. I could chase that fisherman, or I could just wait until he found a settlement and then destroy it. I'm just going to wait until he found a settlement and then destroy it. There's no reason to make peace with the English when I can continue to slow down their growth. That was a hill. Ooh, my mistake. I'm not going to show you all of the other exploration. We're going to be doing a lot of it in the background, just so you know. But we are going to unload the silver miner soldier, dig him into Campbell, load up with some ore that does sell for some money. Not a lot of money, but some money. I'm also going to pick up the food too. In order to grow, I believe that you need 200 food. We'll sell down to Remembrance, and we'll pick up some cotton, as well as the food. It would probably be better to move all the food over to Gamble, because Gamble makes the most food. You can't actually get enough growth with what I have in Jamestown and Remembrance, so I'll put the food down for now. Food only sells for 2 in Europe, so there's no point selling it, and you're better off keeping it around to grow more colonists versus to sustain colonies that run negative on food. But we'll pick up the coats, however, as well as more cotton on the next turn when we produce more. There he goes, 2 friggin' people. My friend, you have made the mistake of settling near me, so I will destroy you. You can actually sell through the native villages, which is very interesting. We'll go ahead and do that to get to Jamestown faster, and we'll unload this soldier just in case the natives decide to attack, fortify him, and he will never move again for quite a while. Other than that, what else can we do? We can pick up some cigars. This is a Jesuit missionary, really. I want to use this missionary to found a mission as soon as possible. The sooner you found the mission, the more convertive natives that you'll get over time. Unfortunately, convertive natives can't be educated in native villages in the vanilla version. Caravel has arrived in Europe. I'm going to wait a moment. I don't quite have enough money for guns. I'd like to save up a little bit more. I'm also going to stop generating Liberty Bells entirely and just switch back to producing the sugar into rum and Gamble. We can switch back and forth effectively enough in Remembrance that it's not a big deal. It's going to be some time before we get Peter Minnow anyway. We get to generate quite a lot of trade points. So this soldier did take up arms. It is unfortunately a master tobacconist. That is a shame that he's going to die. We have a 99.4% chance based on the bottom left there of winning. So basically we're pretty much guaranteed to win. There's less than a 1 in 100 chance of us losing. And we won based on the hit bar. But I just like to watch them die. Wow. He didn't get destroyed. That is interesting. Usually when a colony has 1 population and you take it, they just die. There's an expert fisherman in here, which would be nice to have. And this colony also has access to these crabs, which we would not have access to otherwise. So I'm kind of in favor of keeping it. Yeah, let's keep it. Why not? We're going to need a stockade here too. So let's work on that first. Building a dock would be nice to increase production of the crabs, but defense is more important. Unfortunately, now the Tupi are going to be upset with us too. They actually don't have any issues with us quite yet, but we're still at -5 with Okonostota. By the way, you should never go exploring goodie huts with the scouts that aren't experts. This is because there's a decent chance that your scout will get murdered by the natives. There's also a decent chance that your scout, if he explores a burial ground and he's not an expert, that you'll cause an entire native faction to declare war on you. Your best thing to do with non-expert scouts is to go to native villages, talk to them, and hope that you get seasoned to expert scout. And I'm not bringing that caravel back yet until I have enough money for the guns. I want to make sure that I can, sell to the natives nearby the French. I'm also going to stay at Perpetual War with England. I don't see any reason to do otherwise. And we've met the Incans. They're all the way over here with that native. Interesting. They must be very far to the west. Yeah, there's the Incans. Unfortunately, their settlements in the vanilla version, they don't look very well developed, which is sad. I really recommend that you try out the We the People mod. It's still being worked on. It's not perfected yet, and it has some, I guess you could call them minor issues based upon your playstyle. We actually did find some silver over here by the Tupi, so we could settle a colony right here, mine some silver, get some fish. Something to think about later. There's a bunch of potential colony sites all around here. I'll be thinking more about that once we eliminate the Cherokee first. Instead of sitting around forever, I'm just going to buy as many guns as I can possibly buy. I'm just going to buy as many guns as I can possibly buy right now. We're just going to lose out on about 200 gold profit. I should have done that a while ago. Speaking and playing at the same time causes you to divert your mental processing power, basically. So you're inevitably going to make less optimal choices. We're getting a ton of treasure. We do have 1 Ponce de Leon, that's right. We need to be very careful with our treasures to not go near the Cherokee, just in case they decide to declare war on us, which they could literally do at any point in time right now. We also need another soldier for Roanoke. The Jesuit missionary, we're going to do the lumber back and forth thing to build the stockade and get that running as soon as possible so that Jamestown can't be easily attacked by the natives. Roanoke will probably do the exact same thing with the fishermen. Remembrance is still working on political points. I could work on some better manufacturing sites for their manufactured goods, but I don't really see a point in doing that. I'd rather get the political points for the Founding Fathers. I could do a church to generate crosses, but we don't need crosses quite yet. Or an education center like a schoolhouse, but we also don't need that, truly. The merchantman has arrived and sold its goods. We're up to only 290 gold, which is crap. I'm going to keep the merchantman here until we sell the guns, at which point I'll actually do some purchasing. It'll be cheaper to do recruitment as well. We're actually back on the same turn, so all we got to do is sail over to Tawan and sell them some guns. So the merchantman won't be idle for very long. With the construction of the stockade in Gamble, that calls into question what we'd like to build next. I think in Gamble we would actually like to build a dock. We've got our guns to sell to Sitting Bull. Let's see what he would like to give us. He has 4,200 gold. Unfortunately, that's the most gold that I'll ever get from him. They don't really tend to generate gold over time. He'll give us 1,671 gold. We bought these 87 guns for 609 gold, and we're about to make 274% profit, basically. We're going to make more than double our money, almost triple our money. I'll take that offer. Thank you very much. With that, we're immediately going to sell back to buy more guns. The Tupi are up to -2 for having stolen their land, which is a little bit dangerous. Our treasures should be okay for the most part. We need to take a look at his stats. Some natives are more aggressive than other natives. So he's prosperous. His villages yield double treasure when captured. He also has Minuteman, which means his units get 20% more settlement defense. He also has Indulgent, so he has Formation. His units have plus 25% versus mounted units, meaning Dragoons. However, he has half cost of native land purchasing. We're not going to be purchasing land from the natives. We'll be purchasing it, not with silver, but with lead. So with all this gold in hand, I need to get more soldiers, absolutely. So I need a master rancher. He needs some guns. Oh, shit. I made him a Dragoon. Ugh, I meant to do a soldier. That's fine, I'll just have to live with it, that's okay. It's not perfect. I need to keep about 700 gold on hand in order to ensure I have enough money to continue the musket trade in the north. That does mean that I'll have enough gold to buy another fisherman though, which I definitely want to do because we, by default, don't even make enough food in our colonies to support 2 colonists. You must have a colonist producing food in order to support 2 colonists at least in your colonies, unless you build along a river. Like Roanoke, only 3 food. And we need to do the swapping back and forth trick for the stockade in Roanoke. Let's rename these towns. Jamestown is no longer Jamestown. Let's call it England's Folly. And Roanoke is now Sushi City. There is a special bonus in this game where you get half your revolutionary support as a production bonus towards your goods. This is known as Rebel Sentiment. So we have 17%, we're getting plus 8% production from the sugar production. So we actually make 3.2 for sugar per turn. I think it rounds down, I'm not sure exactly. Akonostota actually went down on the land stealing. He's at -3 instead of -4 now. I wonder if we can sneak a tobacco planter to learn tobacco planting. It's very difficult to get that skill without learning it from the natives. There is one down here in the Tupi though, I can learn it from the Tupi. So I guess I'm not too concerned about it. They've also got expert cotton planter, which is very good indeed. This game is better than the classic colonization in that if you equip a colonist with horses to make them a scout, they actually move at scout speed, but you can still train them. We have 3% going up to 6% taxes, that's fine. The English are deciding to land once more, which means that I am deciding to move their direction once more and not declaring war. Be very careful what buttons you press. We're actually fairly close to getting a galleon, I think, once some of our treasures come home. And once we make some more money from the arms trade. There's the next English settlement, and here comes my army to deal with it. This one we might burn down. I'm getting a little sick of having to get soldiers. Although it's not in a bad spot, it could be placed one down to get access to the crab, because I would like to have a settlement, I think, right here to have access to the corn and the tobacco, which means that this settlement is imperfect. We'll drop the dragoon off in Sushi City, and I think we'll go ahead and pick up some tobacco here while we're at it. The fisherman is going to go over to Remembrance. I'd rather start building up Remembrance here pretty soon. In England's Folly, we're going to do the political points. It's a new day of gameplay and recording for me, so apologies if I lose a train of thought between now and what you were just watching. I do want to clear up a mistake that I talked about earlier in the last video and some of my earlier videos, in that I thought that you can educate somebody in a colony to be any specialty that has worked at least one turn in the colony. However, in the vanilla version of colonization, this one, you can't do that. You can only educate if they're actively working in the colony on the turn that the colonist graduates from the education facility. The having worked at least one turn thing is from the modded version that I like to play. Picking up a bunch of tobacco and trade goods as we go along from colony to colony, looking to drop off the fisherman in Remembrance so that we can begin building up Remembrance. The dragoon that we just dropped off in Sushi City is actually going to be pretty useful against future enemies, so I guess I'll keep him as a dragoon. So we've got a single petty criminal soldier here guarding the Jamestown. So we should have a very easy time taking them down. 99.4% combat odds, I will take that. And we killed them, very good. We also took Jamestown, which calls into question whether or not I should keep this location. It's going to be in conflict with the city northwest of it, as well as the colony right here, Sushi City. I could allow Sushi City to just work the ocean tiles as well as this light forest right here, leaving these tiles all for Jamestown, and that would be a reasonable choice. I could also burn Jamestown to the ground, sacrifice the colonist that is inside of it, and then build another colony right here on this location that has access to the crabs. Burning down the colony also makes it so that I lose whatever is inside the colony. So, I really wish that you could abandon colonies in the vanilla version. That'd be very nice. I think I'll just go ahead and keep it, why not? We'll of course start working on a stockade. We're going to need defenders, and every colony that I take makes it that much more difficult to protect all the colonies that I have, because I have to stretch my military a little bit more thin. Back in Europe, we need to purchase some muskets to go selling to the natives that are not nearby us, and we'll send them off. That leaves us with 433 gold. We'll probably pick up just like an indentured servant to end up becoming a soldier, most likely. You might be thinking, why do I have my soldiers actually in position here fortified? Well, that's because they can take up arms from the muskets that are in the colony, but if they're not fortified ahead of time, they won't have the 25% bonus from being fortified. And if I lose a single combat with only one soldier available, I'm pretty sure that the colony will get burned down by a native attack. So I want to increase the odds of my not losing a colony as much as I can. We're going to pick up the food and remembrance and take that up to Campbell. And that way, we should make a population on the next turn. Yeah, we have 192 food here. You grow at 200 food on normal speed. So we'll have a population growth in one turn, as it says in the top left here. Everything else we'll pick up and sell, besides the sugar. And the tools, of course, which aren't worth a whole lot right now. Colonization is becoming increasingly upset with us. He's now down to -5 because of the -2 from your way of life is threatening to ours. We've got a boatload of treasure here in England's Folly. I am considering sending it back to the king now, but if I save up enough treasure, I might be able to burst fire gold, buy a galleon, and then not risk losing the gold if the king comes along and asks me for money. And we got our first homegrown population in Gamble. You know, I've been working on a rum in Gamble, but that's actually not the best idea. Rum sells for 9, coats sell for 11. It would be better if I did coat production instead. I am going to temporarily build more rum for just a little while longer to use up all my sugar, but then I'm going to switch over to harvesting fur and then creating coats. Or I could build a dock here. Yeah, I think I'm going to work on creating hammers in Gamble. I want to finish up the dock super rapidly, or better yet, I could switch over to political points, and I'm very close to getting Peter Minuit. I'm about 120 political points away, and I've almost got enough trade points. So I'm going to rush Peter Minuit instead, and then I'll keep these treasures on hand so that I can burst fire the treasures once I have almost enough gold for a galleon, and then I'll buy a galleon so that I no longer have to pay half price for shipping treasures back home. Jamestown had a hardy pioneer. I'm going to have to remember that and then transition the pioneer into working as a pioneer in not too long. But for now, we'll do the old swapperoo back and forth from lumber and hammers to get the stockade built. Our first scout has gotten another promotion beyond his exploration promotions that let him move faster. Thanks so much for watching Dealing With It. I'd really like to hear any feedback you have about the video in the comments below. If you liked the video, leaving a like would help the video to reach other people that might also enjoy the video. If you'd like to see more, you can always subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one in episode 3.